We're gonna perform surgery on this freshly harvested white pineapple. First, you gotta locate the head, the crown. We're gonna make the first incision right below, about ½ an inch below. If you hear a scream, don't be alarmed. Alright, the crown has been severed. We'll save this to propagate. And now, cut off the butt. The butt is done. And now, cut along the sides. Have a taste. Overpoweringly juicy and sweet and tart. Perfect. It melts in your mouth. You have to try it. Hey guys, it's Paulina from OffGridHawaii, and Michael's behind the camera, finishing the last bit of pineapple with his sticky fingers. So today, September 5th, and we are finally back on the island after being in California for about 2 weeks, the past 2 weeks. So while we were there, it was a really fun, really great time with my family. However, we did miss out on the hurricane that was happening here. What was the name of it? Lane? Hurricane Lane. So we missed out on the action, but that's probably a good thing because it was very rainy. So we hear. The neighbors said 50 inches of rain in like 2 days, which is crazy. This video is about what happened to our shipping container during those 2 weeks where we were gone. We had it obviously locked and closed for those duration of the 2 weeks, and when we came back, we were greeted by the most unpleasant foul odor of like mold and cockroaches. If you could imagine what that's like. So it was really gross. We're airing it out now. Thankfully it's a nice breezy day, so we have the air flowing through. But we want to show you guys what happens when your container gets locked for 2 weeks and it gets all moldy and gross in there.
So judging by the way it looks inside, you would think we had the doors open and the hurricane went right through, but we're actually just in the middle of cleaning everything, so it is a bit messy. From what I could tell, there's 2 different types of mold that we have in here. I'm not sure the names of them, but the one on the ceiling is like a darker, maybe dark green, blackish speckled mold, and then the one on the floor is like this dusty white mold. Maybe you guys could let us know if you know anything about molds. But the smell is kind of weird. It's like a fungus, mushroomy smell. It doesn't smell that bad, but it was just too bad to sleep in here last night, so we went to the back in the cabin at my sister's house. Alright, let's point them out. The molds, we'll show you. So we got this one up here on the top of the roof, the ceiling. And the one, this dusty white one, is mostly in the back here. The mold really isn't on the surface that we finished too much. It's more on the unfinished surface. So I think it gets more damp and it stays moist, and then the mold has a chance to come out. Well, it doesn't really rub off, but this is the one that it kind of looks like a fungus, like mushroom type spores of some sort, which maybe it comes in off of our mulch pile. It's right behind us here. But basically this happened because it was closed. Usually every day I have these doors open and the mold never really grows. You know, it's just gonna happen when we're in this type of climate, and it's not really that big of a deal to clean. It's just easy enough to clean once in a while, which is a good idea to clean anyway. Even if you don't have mold, you should clean your house, you know.
We're gonna try using this to clean the floors and possibly the ceilings too. So we're gonna see how it works. It's a Swiffer sweeper, dry and wet. I think we got it at Target. So it comes with sweeper wet cloths, so we don't have to wet them ourselves. They already come wet, which is great. I think I can handle this.
Ready to rock.
Assembled. So this is isopropyl alcohol, and we're gonna spray this on the mold because this kills mold. Alright, so let's open it up. It's wet!
It's really wet.
It smells good. Open window fresh. That's the smell. It does smell like open window fresh, which is a lot better than this nasty cockroach mold. So something interesting we've discovered after living in this container for about a year now is that the side of the container that is covered on the top with the roof, like the tarp, that side doesn't get any mold in the ceiling at all, and also doesn't get any condensation on the ceiling. But the side further down where we don't have a tarp covering the container, that's where we see a lot of the mold. So I'm guessing it's because when it's not covered, a lot of the condensation happens there and it gets moist, and then mold likes moisture. So I'm thinking we need to cover the whole container. So what we have is kind of like a roof, the tarp like this with the container right under it. So it's not just like a tarp over the container, it's like a roof above it.
So we actually used this quite a bit, this alcohol, and this time we got the one that was really high percentage. I think it's a bit too strong, so it makes us cough and stuff when we inhale. We use it for a lot of things, and mold mostly, but just cleaning different things and spraying it on our shoes or something when they smell, or clothes. I've cleaned mold off of a lot of things with this, so it's a good thing to have if you live in a moldy climate. So I'm going to spray this to loosen it up maybe a little bit, and then see if it comes off easy with the Swiffer. That's my plan. Just do a little part first. So I'm just working on getting a good technique down. It seems to be really stuck, the mold. I think if you're on top of it and you get it as soon as the mold forms, it doesn't stick as hard. But because this ceiling is like not flat, it's extra hard to do. It's coming. Oh, malfunction.
Take it back. What does your shirt say?
So, if you guys were following us on Instagram at all, you might have saw that we climbed Mount Whitney in one day. It's very hard. Took about 20 hours, but 19 hours, 37 minutes, which is pretty long. Some of us got dehydrated and got kind of sick on the way down.
But some of us did it great and felt good the whole time.
Some of us, like Paulina. Is the hat too funny? Might actually be just easier to repaint. Swiffer is not getting it.
Swiffer. Not working good.
So our first strategy with the alcohol and the Swiffer didn't work that great, so I'm going to just try using a rag and dish soap. And I've used this technique before, so I think it'll work. It's just a little harder because the ceiling's 8 feet tall and we have to move around things. The Swiffer probably will work good on the floor, and it's still not a total waste that we bought it, because I think if we just dry the ceiling every time it gets wet, then the mold won't grow. So we'll leave the Swiffer around and maybe hook a rag to it or something that we could wipe the water off the ceiling with. This is when old weed whacking shirts get reused into rags. Yeah, it looks like it's going to come off. It's just going to take a little scrubbing. Getting the ladder for this job. Make it easy. Oh yeah, much easier. It's like baked in here because it's so hot. Which is weird, right? It should be cool. I think we gotta paint the ceiling or the roof again. That might be what's making it get more condensation too. Because it gets so hot at night. So we're just about done cleaning the ceiling, and it was really hard. The mold kind of like stuck. It was like baked into the ceiling. A lot harder than we thought it was going to be. We had to use rags and scrub it really hard. I think as I was doing it, I felt the roof was hot, the ceiling. And I think that's because, remember, we painted it white, but now it's got so much algae on the top. It's not exactly white anymore, the roof. So it's not reflecting the light, and it's getting hot, which is, I think, causing it to condensate more at night when it cools down. So the roof is like hot, and then it gets cold at night, and then that's when it gets a bit wet. And we can see it sometimes, and we haven't really cleaned it, but I think that's where the Swiffer is going to help us out. And anytime we see a little bit of like drops, condensation on the ceiling, we can clean it right away, and then it won't get moldy. As far as the floor goes, though, I think not much we can do about that except keep the doors open as much as possible. But the floor is a lot easier to clean, and that's what we're going to do now. It shouldn't take much, just wet it, and it'll probably come right off. The ceiling was really tough, though. So the way I've been cleaning the floor is with soap and water, and then rinse it with a little bit of water, and then spraying the isopropyl alcohol on top of that to like dry it up a little bit, but also to kill any other mold. The soap should kill it, but just in case, we put a little more alcohol and spray it. Alright guys, so we finished cleaning all the mold, and it took a lot longer than we thought. I thought the floor was going to be easier than the ceiling, but I had to get under the bed and clean and everything, so it was a real big job. But it's all stuff we had to clean. It wasn't just mold, it was dirt and dust, so it's like kind of like a spring cleaning in the
Yeah.
fall.
Fall cleaning.
Fall cleaning.
And there was a lot of stuff there that we were kind of hoarding that we really didn't need to have anyway. So we got rid of it.
Yeah.
As we were cleaning and making this video, we put a story on Instagram asking if anybody had any questions about the mold and cleaning and all that. So we got a few questions from our friends and we're going to go over them. It's just 3 questions. The first one is, sorry about the mold, guys. Have you thought of a way to prevent the mold for the next time you're away?
We actually have, and it's really just to clean everything. A lot of the mold grows on stuff that's dirty anyway. Like in my car, most of the mold was near where my arms and my body was, because there's like sweat and stuff. And usually stuff in the house that like backpacks that have sweat on them and stuff, that grows the most mold. But really just to improve circulation too helps a lot, and that's what we've done. We had a lot of stuff under our bed that was just like really tight packed, and we're getting rid of a lot of stuff, especially like cardboard boxes absorb like a lot of stuff, and those are places for cockroaches, which we found a lot of cockroaches all around. It's funny, I'd be outside and I hear Paulina scream. I knew exactly why. She hates them, but I don't mind them.
Yeah, so next question comes from Kyle Evans. Hi, Kyle.
Hey.
Oh, he just responded too. Okay, so he wrote, is there any type of tiny dehumidifier that could run off the solar and just dump outside?
You know, that was one of my first ideas when we thought about having a container, is to just have a dehumidifier that runs constantly off of the solar. But the thing is, dehumidifiers use a lot of electricity. It's the same thing as like pretty much an air conditioner or anything that modifies temperature. Really, heating and air conditioning uses a lot of electricity, so I don't think that's an option for us.
Mold sucks. So other question comes from our friend Kathleen Black. Kathleen says, how quickly does the mold come in? Like, how often would you have to do a cleaning like this?
Do you want to answer that one?
Well, I answered, and I said, Kathleen, maybe every week would have to do it. So,
but it's really just because the lack of circulation. With the doors closed for 2 weeks, and even when I was away for a month, you weren't really here, so you had it closed a lot, and there was mold growing. When I got back, I smelled it, and I don't think you even noticed. You were living in it, because you were just getting used to it, but if you go away and come back, you really notice the smell.
Yeah, it was horrible.
So, yeah, to answer that, it'd be just...
it depends how much circulation we've been getting throughout the week.
How wet it's been, too.
How wet it's been. Yeah, but I think just like, because you see it come up, like, and as long as we just wipe it off, that should be enough. So we don't have to go around like scrubbing really hard like for one whole day.
Yeah.
Like we did today.
A lot of this could have been prevented by just getting rid of it a lot sooner. It wouldn't have been as hard to scrub off and clean if we had just stayed on top of it. And but you know, we procrastinate. We have other things to do, so we don't get to it. Probably stay on top of it now, though, that it's clean.
So, that's all the questions that we got. Thank you. Goodbye.
Let us know if you guys have any tips for cleaning mold or just getting rid of it. We'd love to hear in the comments. Yeah, we're hungry. We're going to go to Uncle Robert's tonight. It's
The night market.
really nice to go and eat there and stuff.
Shut up. I love him.
But you're so mean to him.
But I love him. I'm mean to him because I have a crush on him.
Bye, guys.
Bye.